thought you was just. Oh, yeah. Oh. When the spotlight hit you. Oh, no. I need you like this.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Slay J, and we're back with another tutorial. Going straight into the brows. I'm using the Ulta Beauty brow pencil. I'm using the color Brunette for the tail of her brow. And then when we make our way to the front, I'm gonna soften up. And with a really light pressure, use Brunette as well, but I'm using the lightest pressure. She already has pretty full brows towards the front, so all I wanted to do was add a little bit of pigment and brush it through the brows. And you'll see me do that. And I'm going in an upward motion just to mimic those hairs. Nothing too crazy. I'm not shading it in the same way I'm doing the ends, because she doesn't really have that much of a brow towards the end. So I'm really focusing on the ends of the brows and filling it in. And I'm just making sure that her shape is where I want it to be before I go on and start concealing. Now for her concealer, I'm using the Plouise eyeshadow base in the number 3 to carve out her brows. And I really love using the Plouise eyeshadow bases to carve out brows, because it's such a nice thick consistency. It doesn't move, it doesn't budge, and I can always get a nice clean sharp line. Going into a Real Techniques brush just to push that product in. All the brushes will be listed in the description bar below, but you guys already know this is my handy dandy Zoeva 144 brush. My favorite brush of all time, carving out brows, cut creases, anything like that. That's my go-to. So I'm doing the same thing for the opposite brow and making sure they're even and they meet up with each other, and going back in and pressing that product into the skin. I cannot stress enough how important it is to blend out those edges, especially for the eyeshadow and the edges when it comes to foundation and concealer, because since it does dry matte, if you don't blend out those edges, you'll see it through the foundation. So for the top of her brows, I'm using her foundation color, which is 312 from the Maybelline Superstay foundation collection, and that's what I'm using to carve out the top. Really getting it nice and even, and really working that product into the skin when you see me push it in. And I'm going back and forth. If I took too much off, I'm going right back in, adding it back, and then going back in just to clean it up. And I love doing this technique because I really want it to be nice and precise. So for her eyeshadow base, I'm going into Plouise eyeshadow base, but this time with the number 0. And I'm brushing that in with a setting brush from Real Techniques. And I'm really pressing in that product. Now, to map out the shape that I want, we're doing a wing cut crease look. I'm using this NYX pencil. I just picked up any NYX pencil, honestly, because I really wanted to take my time with the shape. I didn't really want a free hand, so I just needed a guide, because honestly guys, I'm not too advanced with the wing cut crease. This is like probably my 5th time trying this. So here you see me going in with the Stacey Marie palette, the Pro palette, and I'm using the color Mood, which is this navy blue. Going into this green emerald shade, which is called the Hype from the same palette. And I'm going in and I'm just blending and buffing this green into this blue, and I'm just adding it just a little above it, as you see me here, but I'm still working it into the blue. I'm just really getting it in there, and I'm just patting a little bit on my arm if I feel like the color is a little too opaque. I'm just going back and forth to each eye to make sure the pigmentation is even. Now I'm going into Ecstasy, which is another color from the palette. It's this really soft mint green, and I'm using that right above that emerald green, the Hype, just to buff that out and really try to diffuse the colors as evenly as possible. That's why I'm going back and forth to each eye. I'm going right back in with the Hype to blend that into the mint green. And just really working it in there. Making sure everything is nice and even. Going right back in to the navy blue, the Mood from the palette. And going right back in and deepening up that crease. And that's basically really what it takes to blend. As you guys know from my previous videos, you're gonna have to go back and forth each colors with each brush and really get that nice blend, that gradient blend. So now I'm going into the same eyeshadow base from Plouise in the number 0 and carving out that crease into that wing shape. And as you guys can see, it was so easy and so effortless. So the guide from the pencil really does help. So really working it in. I'm going into I believe this is a smaller setting brush. I'm not quite sure what that brush is called from Real Techniques, but it'll be listed below in the description bar. Now I'm going in with Mood and I'm patting that on the lid, and I'm making sure to leave a bit of space between the crease and the lid shades, because I want that nice kind of crisp white line in between the shadows. I think that would look really nice, and it really came together so well, guys. Can't wait for you to see the end. Going back in with that Hype. So every color that we used for the crease, we're going on to the lid with the same colors. And a lot of the brushes just going to use are from Morphe and Makeup Geek, and they will be listed below, like I said before. And I'm really going in there, and I'm making sure that those colors blend really nicely. I want to make sure they just kind of wash into each other, just like so. Going into Ecstasy from the palette and adding that towards the end of the lid. And I am going to be blowing this color out just a little bit. And I seen that I was kind of losing a little bit of the white line, so I just wanted to add it back. Then go right back into the shadows and clean it up again. And I'm just going back and forth between each colors and the brushes I use for each color, just to make sure they really melt together. Making sure it's nice and even. And buffing it out just like so. I'm really taking my time with it. Now I'm going in with my Sephora liquid liner, but as you guys know, I use the NYX liquid liner brush because it's nice and long and much more skinny, so I really get that precise wing that I always love. Going in with my Cosmetic line lashes. These have not released yet, so they do not have a name, but they're coming out in the summertime. And I also use these for my last tutorial. So tell me how much you guys like it, or if you like it, or give me some suggestions on what I should name them. And I'm just making sure I go right back in and clean up that line. Cleaning up all the fallout that we had and making sure it's all over the face, or off the face. Going back into that foundation color, which is the 312 from the Maybelline Superstay collection, and cleaning up the wing and under her eyes right in the front. Going in with my Pond's moisturizer and Milk primer, the Hydro Drip. Going into her foundation, which is also, like I said before, the 312 from Maybelline Superstay, and putting that all over the face. And I'm using this Real Techniques Instapop Face Brush, and going all in just like so. And then I'm going in with a couple of drops of the Miliani foundation in the color Tan, just to deepen her up just a little bit, because I knew I did want to go in with a really poppin' under eye highlight. So I just wanted to make her just a half a shade darker so that it all can balance each other. Going in with medium 36 from the Coulourpop concealer, and I'm putting that all over it. And I added just a tiny bit of the Juvia's Place concealer. I'm not quite sure what color, Going into Black Opal, I'm using that color Beautiful Bronze, and just really carving her features out and making sure I really get that jaw. I want a nice clean jaw, structured, so I really wanted to focus a lot of the contour on that. Going in with my Fancy and Fab Co beauty sponge, I'm blending all of that concealer out, going right back into the same brush I used for the foundation and meeting the contour and the concealer together. And the excess product that we had from the foundation on the brush is going to help us blend everything together, as you can see. And really getting that in there, taking any creases out. Then I'm going in with my ACcosmetics baking powder in the color No Shine, and I added just a little bit of the Laura Mercier. Then I'm taking that same Instapop Face Brush that we use for the foundation, and I went into, I forgot what number, but I went into the MAC Studio Fix powders. Then I'm going in with the Fenty Carmel Cutie bronzer, and I'm just contouring. And then I added some Sephora blush to her cheeks. Going in with the Morphe gel liner in her waterline. Then I'm taking all the colors that I used for her her eye look on the top, on the bottom, and really smoking that out, just like so. Going in with the Peaches and Cream Cosmetics pigment in Mermaze, I believe it's called, right into the inner corners, and just taking off the excess. Going in with my favorite mascara, the Benefit Bad Gal, just for her top and bottom lashes. And really putting it on you. Taking that same foundation brush and blending everything together. And yay, she is so cute. Going in with the Artist Couture highlighter in Illuminati, and I'm putting that all over her face, on her cheeks, her nose, her brow bone. Spraying with the Morphe setting spray. Lining her lips with a lip liner that I got from the beauty supply store. I believe it's called One and Only, the brand. And it's brown. It's just brown. And it was no particular way I was lining her lips. Like, I wasn't trying to have like a specific structure, because I knew I just wanted the brown in there, because I wanted the lip to look kind of like a brown nudish color. So I didn't want it to be too outlined. I just wanted it all to mesh together. And I'm just topping it with some clear gloss. And this is the final look, guys. And this is what we got. It looks beautiful. We named this look Neptune because it was just giving us like worldly, spacey vibes. And it was beautiful. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. And I hope you guys liked it. I hope you learned. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.